Blue 42! Blue 42! Hut! Hut! Hike!
This is The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5, America's one and only sports talk show. Breaking down college football's biggest games, latest news, and greatest moments. Are you ready? Because it starts right now.
Welcome back and Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of 2026. I'm Nick Norris. With me, my co-host Patrick Hannah, and back in the studio, we have Maddie Hannah, ready to do her Maddie's Minute once again. Welcome back, Maddie. We have missed you very much. And guys, we're going to talk a lot today about some things that maybe some Alabama fans don't want to hear. We're going to talk about that Alabama-Indiana game. Oh, man.
Woo! Man.
A brutal loss. We'll get to that. We're going to talk about those other college football playoff games from yesterday, predicting the semifinals, and looking at two huge NFL games this weekend. But before we get to all that, Patrick, Maddie, how has your New Year's been so far?
It's been good. We've had a lot of sickness in our house. You know, that Maddie was sick. That's why she wasn't here for a couple of weeks. And Brandy's been sick. But we're finally, knock on wood, everybody's back getting better just in time for us to go back to work. I know that's something me and you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
And also, it's been going great. How was yours?
Mine has been very good. I got to actually hosted a little New Year's Eve party with my family. So, everybody was gone by like 10. But we had a good time. We watched the new Stranger Things together. A little watch party. But yeah, it was good. Everybody brought some food. We had a good time. What about you, Maddie? Do you have any New Year's resolutions for this year?
Do you have any?
No. Not yet? You got to think about it? Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. What about you, Patrick? You have any New Year's resolutions?
I've got one. I started out this year, and I'm glad that I kind of kept to it. Didn't really hit my goal like I wanted. Was to be able to kind of lose some weight and to be able to kind of get back into shape, because I was at my heaviest. I was at 230, and I'm down to 206 now.
That's a lot of weight
loss. It's a good weight loss. I want to be able to hit 200 this year, so I want to lose 6 more pounds, which is reasonable.
Oh yeah.
And it's doable. So, I really enjoyed it. I've got a good group of wrestlers that hold me accountable, that meets me up at the gym, and a lot of times as well. So that's something that I'm going to try to see if I can finish what I started.
Okay, there you go. Mine is I got to limit my screen time, man. I've got to get off TikTok so much and all these apps, and it's hard because it's part of my job. So
that's what I was going to say. How's that going to work with your job?
But I can't use that as an excuse, because 90% of my usage is not job related. I've got to lower that time. I can feel my attention span diminishing in real time. So I've got to get that. That is going to be mine this year. And hopefully everybody meets their New Year's resolutions as well. Notre Dame got their New Year's wish, actually, because Coach Marcus Freeman is staying with the Fighting Irish. He announced this week he was rumored to be considering the Giants head coaching job, but it seems like that did not end up working out for one reason or another. So.
Yeah, and I think this is a good move by Marcus Freeman. He's actually one of my top 5 favorite coaches to be able to watch during the season. Just because he's just so full of energy, man. He gets his players. He's a very player-minded coach, building relationships. I personally don't think he would be a good fit, not just for the Giants. I just don't think he's a good fit for the NFL.
Yeah, I can see that as well.
And so I just don't think he would be able to handle that aspect of it. What I think he needs to focus on now, since he is staying at Notre Dame, is to find a conference. So that way you can not have any more whining about you not making the playoff in that aspect.
I agree. Yeah, we've given Marcus Freeman a hard time this past month, as the entire college football world, and I'd say well deserved. But yeah, I do think he is a good coach. I think that him alongside the university have just made some very bizarre decisions as of late, but nothing that can't be fixed. Phillip Rivers has started his final game, Patrick, for real this time. He announced he would not be unretiring again And the Colts this weekend are starting rookie Riley Leonard instead. Not because of any lackluster play by Rivers, of course. He has been balling out, but they just want to see what they got in Leonard.
Yeah, and this is understandable, too. I mean, they brought him in because, one, his familiarity with the system. Two, when he has made playoffs, he really shines.
Yeah.
And three, it's like you said. He's gotten heavier.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the best of shape, but, man, he could still sling it and stuff out there. I mean, he made plays. He even made plays with his feet. He made one of the defensive backs that's actually made the Pro Bowl, shook him out of his shoes and stuff and all. And I remember they had a little mic up on him in that aspect, and that was pretty funny to be able to watch. But this is, they're out of the playoff race.
Right.
See what you got in Riley. So that way you can be able to evaluate if you need to get a more experienced quarterback for next year in that aspect. Because, you got Daniel Jones. He's prone to injuries. Anthony Richards ain't worth talking about in that regards too. So you're trying to see here if you got a good, decent backup to where you can release Richardson in that aspect. And, I was glad to see Phillip Rivers because it was a good little evaluator for, and take a trip down memory lane because he was always my go-to guy to be able to get in fantasy football was to get Phillip Rivers.
Well, I added him for my Super Bowl. I didn't start him, and I'm glad I didn't. I like 7 points. But I did add him. I did end up winning it, but not because of Phillip. But I wanted him on my roster for it. Introducing now, joining us right out of the WJLX booth where he has been operating, Brian Hale. How you doing, Brian?
I was a lot better coming into this day and not so good going out of it after that. So
yeah, we are recording this one a little early, so the Alabama game has just wrapped up in our world here. We're going to get to that in just a moment. Speaking of the NFL, though, 4 teams are fighting for 2 playoff spots this weekend. 2 big games. We'll talk more in depth about those in a little bit. But we have the Ravens and Steelers. I believe that one is Sunday Night Football. Winner advances and loser stays home. And we have the same exact situation with the Bucks and the Panthers. So we'll talk more about that, see who we think is going to be winning their division, who is going to be missing out entirely on the postseason. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, got some scary NFL news. Saints wide receiver Chris Olave, he is out with a blood clot in one of his lungs. So please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. That is a very scary diagnosis for a
goodness, lungs?
Yeah.
How scary is that?
Yes, very much so. So definitely we'll keep an eye on that. I don't think that it's, obviously it's serious, but I don't think they are necessarily concerned about a life or death situation, but it is something they're having to get handled immediately. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then last bit of news, Patrick, I did get to make it to the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl this week. If you follow either of our pages, the Game Managers or WJLX, you may have saw some of our posts from there. Georgia Southern beat App State 29-10. But I will say, for it to be the Birmingham Bowl, and maybe not the bowl with the best reputation, they stepped it up this year in what was going on around the bowl. And I think if it would have been 2 more prevalent teams, it could have been really fun. They had a big pep rally outside. They were giving out free stuff. They were trying to get the fans more involved. The issue was there was just no fans from either team there.
Yeah, and see, some of the things, because I hated that I wasn't able to go with the sickness that we had in our house. But looking at the stuff that you sent me, it was really sad on the attendance aspect.
Yeah, it was.
And the information that they gave us in emails, like they had the teams go to the Civil Rights Museum. They had Dave & Buster's, and they even had things set up for like the fans and all to be there as well for meet and greets, pictures, autographs, the whole 9 yards. Really made it very, fan friendly just to try to be able to boost attendance.
It was outside the stadium. All that stuff was free to the public, whether you're going to the game or not. And they had a lot set up. It was actually really cool. And there were more people at that area than in the actual game. And they were giving out stuff. If it would have been Auburn, like they had an opportunity, I think it could have been a really cool atmosphere. I understand why Auburn didn't accept it, but man, I think I'm sure they were they were kicking themselves that they couldn't make that work because it would have been really cool.
Yeah, even if it wasn't Auburn, if it would have been one of the other teams, but the ones that declined the aspect outside of Notre Dame was understandable because they were going through coaching changes.
Right.
And this should also be for some colleges, hey, do I really want to pull the plug early? Because if not, my school and my kids are missing out on opportunity for more exposure and another game to play.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to get to that Alabama game. We're going to talk all about it, break it down, what it means for Alabama as a program and for the college football playoff as a whole. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Hansen with North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Arab and Jasper, Alabama, bringing you the biggest competition between the Chrysler store and the Ford store all year long. Our teams are teaming up to save you thousands of dollars. We've actually put the teams together, and they're in a competition to see who brings home the trophy. So in conjunction with the Chrysler Wrap Up the Year sales event, we are giving the biggest discounts of the year. It is our Wrapping Up the Year sales event, and the only way that we're going to win this competition against Ford is if you show up to save the thousands of dollars. Top dollar for your trade and 0% financing and the lowest payments possible. For instance, a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee discounted over $12,000. Drive it home for $29,999. Used cars as low as only $49,999. That's the kind of savings that you're going to get when you buy from the Chrysler store at North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Arab and Jasper. Check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. I'll see you soon.
Hey guys, this is Ashley Anthony coming to you from North Country Ford in beautiful Arab and Jasper, Alabama. Guys, I know you just heard my better half say that there's a big competition. Well, let me tell you what team you want to be part of. You want to be part of Ashley's Ford team. The number one selling truck in the world is the Ford F-150, and the number one place to buy your vehicle is from Ashley. Make sure you ask for Ashley's team. Guys, don't listen to what he said. I'll give you the biggest discounts, the most money for your trade, and the best buying experience you ever had. Y'all come make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Make sure that you ask for Ashley's team because that's the winning team. Nobody wants to be on my better half's losing team, right? Y'all make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, where I promise you, you'll drive a little and save a lot. Or check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. And as he says, but I say it better, I'll see you soon.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And welcome back to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5. And we are about to get into this Alabama game, if you want to call it that. It wasn't much of a game. The Tide go down 38-3, largest loss since 1998, nearly 30 years. I was 1 year old at the time. We lost this bad. And the last time we got beat in the postseason this bad was never. This is the worst loss in Alabama postseason history. Lost by 5 touchdowns. And let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and maybe not even out of the way. Let's give credit where credit is due. Indiana looked incredible.
Yeah.
This was not a scenario where Alabama beat themselves. Indiana beat Alabama, and they beat them bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. That they are the most complete team, in my opinion. I don't see anybody coming close to Indiana right now. I thought it was Ohio State. That's obviously not the case. Georgia's not. I don't think they're going to be touching Indiana. I don't think anybody's going to be touching Indiana.
No, I don't think so. It's Indiana's to lose.
It is Indiana's to lose. I agree. Maybe if you want to share that microphone, I might have a little bit there. Have that one right between you. But yeah, I was so impressed with the way that Indiana was playing tonight. I've seen several people compare them to the Alabama of old, the early 2010s sort of Alabama.
Yeah, I would tend to think so, Nick. It would amazingly. The first thing that popped into my head is it looks like Indiana got the one that we should have gotten, and maybe DeBoer should have headed to Indiana where he started off at or was at for a while. But the job that he has done. I mean, you consider Indiana as a power. Guys, that has not happened in our lifetime.
I told Patrick, I was like, how much territory do we need to sell to Georgia in order to pay Cincinnati to come to Alabama?
Oh, my goodness.
I think he's the real deal, man.
Oh, yeah. And he's locked into Indiana for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
He got a nice pay jump.
I'd love to see him build a dynasty there. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, I think it would be great, too.
On this show, we don't do a lot of hot takes for clicks. It's not something that we do. I don't think either of us, Patrick, say anything that we don't mean. We don't really say things out of emotion. I'm saying all that to say what I'm about to say is not a hot take. I'm not saying because I don't believe it, and I'm not saying it out of emotion. I really believe this. I think it's going to upset a lot of Alabama fans, but I think it is the truth.
It won't upset me.
Oh, you're not an Alabama fan.
Exactly.
But coming from an Alabama fan, which I am, I think this season has affirmed to me that Alabama no longer deserves the benefit of the doubt. I think if it's between Alabama and another team in the playoff, years past, if Saban's there, you'd say, well, Saban, get these boys ready. Obviously, give it to Alabama. Put them in over TCU, as we saw that one year, right? I'm not giving Alabama the benefit of the doubt anymore. Why should I? They are inconsistent, and they are emotional, and they do not come prepared. They do not play to a standard. They play to what they feel like that day. I just don't think that namesake is going to carry them anymore. I think that era of Alabama is dead. I'm not saying Alabama can't go and win a national championship. Not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying I don't think they deserve the benefit of the doubt any longer. Would you guys agree with that at all?
I agree.
Well, you know what I said before we came on before this break, the 2025 Alabama Crimson Tide football season will, to me, always be known as the complete story of Jekyll and Hyde. Because, guys, Nick, you just said it perfectly yourself. They were inconsistent. They were emotional. You didn't know what you would get from them, not only week to week. You didn't know what you were going to get from them quarter to quarter.
Oh, yeah. That team showed no effort at all in the fourth quarter in this game.
And what did we hear all this way coming in? Everybody's back. Everybody's healthy. Mm-hmm. So you know that's not an issue. You know the talent's not an issue. It's mentality. That's all it is, and I really think it starts at the very top.
It does. We actually have posted on our page asking some fans what they thought of the current state of the program.
Yeah, I've got that pulled up right here.
Patrick, if you can read out some of those comments, what just normal people who follow our page is kind of feeling right now.
Yeah, so our good friend James Phillip basically puts a scary face and another picture. It looks like a child puking and all. Then we got Dakota Guthrie says, personally, I think there are some problems with staff that need workout, especially at O-line. But aside from that, play calling on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
April Norris has a picture of SpongeBob crying.
That's my mom.
And then Brandon Shoemaker says, play calling was trash. And I would agree.
Yes.
I would totally agree with that. Now, I will say, and I don't think part of the reason might be is because when the backup comes in, you don't have the full playbook. You know as well as I do from coaching, the backup basically learns half the playbook.
Right.
And all because they don't get the mini reps in practice. But the backup it shows very promising for a future. But defense, Indiana looked like they ran the same 5 plays. Run, and then pass on third down. Run, and then occasionally may throw a play action on second down. It was the same type of script throughout the entire thing. And I'm not a defensive coach, but Kane Womack, that would be easy.
Yeah.
Here you want to go out there and be able to come up with a better defensive game plan than that. And when they would show the camera and stuff on him, he had like a deer in headlights look.
Yeah.
And this is the same person that was up for a couple of head coaching jobs as well.
Yeah. And, and we'll say this. I think that, Patrick, you and I agree on this, just in our personal lives, but also kind of on the show. We kind of, I wouldn't say an unspoken rule, but we're not the kind of guys that call for another man's job. We're not. That being said, I think that Kalen DeBoer is probably going to be forced to take a look at some of his hires. Now, does that mean he's going to have to fire them? I don't know. I don't get paid to make those decisions. I don't want to put my input in that. But something needs to change with Grubb. Either he's got to develop, he's got to change his philosophy, or I fear that he is going to be out on the curb before very long. It's a ruthless sport. You don't get a whole lot of grace at a program like Alabama. It has been unacceptable, I would say, across the board.
Well, guys, you've just got to look at today's climate. I mean, look, do we even need to look past Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, that whole situation involving those two problems? Guys, that's just the top of the iceberg that we've been talking about in a season full of this.
Yeah.
And you're starting to get to the point, too, and this is where I feel that we need to get a grasp on the NIL, because you're starting now to coach players that are making more money than some of your coaches on your staff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, several.
So that's going to cause a lot of problems. Like, why should I listen to you? I make more money than you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why I've always been for a players' union. If you have a players' union, I know a lot of colleges are scared. They're like, oh, we don't want a players' union. You get a players' union, you can lock these guys into real contracts.
Yeah, you can.
You know, and it's a win-win for everybody. Unions are always a win-win for everybody. If they are going to have things that they want in writing, you're going to have things you want in writing. And you'll be able to actually hold them to that. Whereas right now, they can wiggle out of these contracts.
Yeah.
It's very easy to. You can't, as a university, as easily. But if there's a players' union, you can hold these guys and you can say, well, if you want this bonus, you got to do this. And if you want to leave here, then you're going to have to pay back this. And that would get rid of a lot of this that's going on right now. And I don't really understand. I mean, I get the argument against it, but I don't think it's a good argument. I think there should be a players' union for everybody's sake at this point. If we're going to keep doing the NIL deal, that's what it's going to come down to, I think, in my opinion. But let's talk a little bit about Alabama. Now, being one-dimensional is nothing new for Alabama or even an SEC team. I'd say for every SEC team for 95% or more of their history, they have been one-dimensional, mostly running the ball. Issue for Alabama, or for any modern team if you're one-dimensional, is you better have a Cam Newton or a Derrick Henry back there that can pick up the slack that the other half of your offense is not putting together. Right? So, issue is Bama doesn't have a Henry or a Newton. They have an average passing offense, and I'd say a D- rushing attack. I mean, this is
the worst rushing Alabama team I think I've seen in a long time.
I think it's the worst of my life. I mean, through the Shula years and the years where Alabama was on the death penalty, there was a more cohesive rushing attack than this year.
Yeah, because I could name at least one running back for Alabama. I mean, this year, if it hadn't been for us as a station covering Bama games, I couldn't tell you who Bama's running back.
Well, they don't get the name called much because they're not making any plays, and not to mention on top of being one-dimensional, like we said, DeBoer's teams at Alabama have not really had much identity, whether as an offense or a defense, and I think in this season at first that played a little bit to Alabama's benefit because after that Florida State, they had to completely change their identity. That being said, I don't know how to describe this team other than, like we had already said, sort of reactionary football. And the play calling has been poor or soft or both, just about every single game at some point, if not for the full game. And I think with you cannot win consistently with glaring cracks like those in your team's foundation.
Guys, I think it starts up front. I mean, it's not a talent situation in the offensive line. I mean, that offensive line recruiting-wise has to be a top 10 in the nation. So it's got to be up front. And really, I sit there and I listen to the games every single week, and, yeah, I hear a rush for 2 yards, a rush for 3 yards, there's no gain on the play, and then I hear a bunch of sacks. You know where the problem lies. It's got to be in the coaching because it's not a talent problem.
I would agree totally with that aspect. I mean, because it's kind of like the same thing that you see that Auburn's been going through the past couple of years. The talent's back there in your skill positions, but when your quarterback doesn't have time to do anything, what do you do? I mean, you got to either take the sack or you force a chance to having a fumble. with Auburn on defense, with a DJ Durkin's defense, you know it's going to be smash mouth and it's going to be blitz heavy. They're going to be playing man-to-man on the back half of it. On offense, under Freeze, it's whatever he wakes up and flips a coin on for that week. But when Derek Dix got in there and started calling the plays, you know, it was more of a balanced attack. You know, he played to the strengths of, you know, Ashton Daniels. He went ahead and saw that Arnold wasn't getting it done. So he was like, we're going to try something new. We got a new scheme coming in. I'm calling the plays. Gave Daniels a chance. When Daniels was able to run with his feet, it opened up things for the running game. And that you saw that last half where Auburn's offense was at the bottom of the SEC to where it rose to about midway. And it starts to make you ask the questions, what could have been if Derek Nix was calling the plays the entire time? But before that, with Freeze, it was kind of like what Alabama's offense was. It was problems with the coaching and up front, starting with the line, and being able to motivate them to step it up.
Yeah. Well, we had another game on New Year's Eve, and this one, Patrick, shocked both of us.
Oh, gosh.
Miami upsets Ohio State 24-14. And after this one, Patrick, I decided no longer are we going to be making our predictions. We just can't do it. So I'm going to actually ask Maddie. So I'm going to give you some games, and just off vibes, Maddie, what you feel like, you're going to tell me who's going to win these games, okay? You ready for this? Okay. Oregon and Indiana. Who do you think is going to win?
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay, the Hoosiers. She says they're going all the way to the championship. All right, now currently as we're recording this, Ole Miss and Georgia has not finished their game. Okay, they are tied. But right now, who do you think would win? Ole Miss or Georgia?
Georgia.
Georgia. That means we're going to have a game between Georgia and Miami. Do you think Georgia or Miami is going to win that one?
Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. And that means we're going to have an all-red national championship. We're going to have the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Georgia Bulldogs. Maddie, who is our national champion for this year?
Indiana.
Indiana. You heard it here first. The Hoosiers are going to do it all, pull off the Cinderella story. Thank you, Maddie. I think we'll start asking her for some predictions every week.
You know, I kind of hope that works out because I'd really be interested to see Indiana versus Georgia because that's two of the best defensive minds in the game going at each other.
Yeah. I think that'd be a great game, and I think it's a very realistic possibility.
I think so too.
Guys, if y'all would look at that semifinal possibility, all four of those guys are Saban's proteges.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
It is.
They sure are. All right. We are going to take another break. But when we come back, actually, before we take a break, Maddie, would you like to go ahead and do Maddie's Minute while we're here? What do you think?
You want to do it now or you want to do it after the break?
After the break.
After the break. We're going to come back, and we're going to do Maddie's Minute. Then we're going to talk about these two big NFL games this weekend, and we're going to get a little Jasper Wrestling update as well as we're heading into a big weekend. So we'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, and we'll see you on the other side.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
Hello, folks. This is Greg Anson with North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Arab and Jasper, Alabama, bringing you the biggest competition between the Chrysler store and the Ford store all year long. Our teams are teaming up to save you thousands of dollars. We've actually put the teams together, and they're in a competition to see who brings home the trophy. So in conjunction with the Chrysler Wrap Up the Year sales event, we are giving the biggest discounts of the year. It is our Wrapping Up the Year sales event, and the only way that we're going to win this competition against Ford is if you show up to save the thousands of dollars. Top dollar for your trade and 0% financing and the lowest payments possible. For instance, a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee discounted over $12,000. Drive it home for $29,999. Used cars as low as only $49,999. That's the kind of savings that you're going to get when you buy from the Chrysler store at North Country Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Arab and Jasper. Check us out on the web at NorthAlabamaCars.com. I'll see you soon.
Hey Hey guys, this is Ashley Anthony coming to you from North Country, Ford, and beautiful Arab in Jasper, Alabama. Guys, I know you just heard my better half say that there's a big competition. Well, let me tell you what team you want to be part of. You want to be part of Ashley's Ford team. The number one selling truck in the world is the Ford F-150, and the number one place to buy your vehicle is from Ashley. Make sure you ask for Ashley's team. Guys, don't listen to what he said. I'll give you the biggest discounts, the most money for your trade, and the best buying experience you ever had. Y'all come make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, and I promise you, you'll be glad you did. Make sure that you ask for Ashley's team because that's the winning team. Nobody wants to be on my better half's losing team, right? Y'all make the short drive to Arab or Jasper, Alabama, where I promise you, you'll drive a little and save a lot. Or check us out on the web at northalabamacars.com. And as he says, but I say it better, I'll see you soon.
You're listening to The Game Managers on WJLX 101.5.
And welcome back to The Game Managers. Nick Norris, Patrick Hannah, Maddie Hannah. And it is time for Maddie's Minutes. Now, we have missed our Maddie's Minute segment the last few weeks. And we're happy to have you back, Maddie. What are we talking about today?
I'm going to be asking you and Dad what your favorite character and scene is from Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, okay. Yeah, we had to miss out on some Christmas movie talk, didn't we? So I'm excited. I love Home Alone. That's maybe my favorite Christmas movie is up there.
I was about to say it was on both of our lists. I think it was top 3, I think.
Yeah, it's up there for me. It's one I watch every single year. I usually put it on in my classroom that last day of school.
Yeah.
I like Home Alone.
Yeah, we tried to do your segments for you while you were out sick, but it just didn't have the same touch.
No, it's not the same without you.
Yeah.
Favorite character and scene from Home Alone 2. Okay, so Home Alone 2, when he gets lost in New York. There's a lot of iconic imagery in that one as well.
And a lot of, good cameos too. Like the president's cameos in there.
He's in it. Trying to think if there's any other recognizable cameos. I can see a lot of characters and a lot of character actors. Mm-hmm. But I think they have more of just like full roles. My favorite character, the Wet Bandits.
Oh, yeah.
Wet Bandits, both probably Marv.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite. I mean, Kevin's great, obviously. And he's a psychopath.
See, I was going to go with Marv, too. And in that one, they're the Sticky Bandits.
Yeah, they
changed their name and stuff because they broke out of jail and stuff. Marv would probably be mine. And I would probably say that my favorite scene would have to be when he's booby-trapped his uncle and aunt's house that's being renovated.
Yeah.
And just that whole scenario, because I can't pick one because they're all funny in that regards. If I had to pick one, it might be when he fell down the hole and then all the paint comes and falls on top of him.
Yeah.
It'd be a toss-up between that and then when he gets his hands on the electric and he gets electrocuted and you see him turn into a skeleton.
That's pretty good, too. His mom is an underrated character as well. She's a force of nature. Like once she is getting back, she is determined to get back.
Yes.
I'd say my favorite scene, gosh. So is that one? That's the one with the bird lady.
Yes.
I love all her scenes.
Yes.
And she looks so much like Piers Morgan.
Yes, she does.
Every year he has to put out a thing. He's like, I'm not the bird lady from Home Alone.
Yes.
Maddie, who is your favorite character?
I'm probably going to have to say Kevin.
Kevin. What is it about Kevin that you like?
He's probably funny.
A thing that Kevin did, I think it's in the first movie, that I used to try to do so much when I was a kid, is he gets a remote and he changes the channel through the window. Mm-hmm. I think it's in the first movie. And I used to do that to my uncle from my grandma's house because they lived next to each other. And I would get, and it wouldn't work. And now as an adult, I know that remote wouldn't reach from the kitchen, especially across the yard. But he would play along with it. And I think my grandma would tell him, he'd be like, who keeps changing my TV channels? And I thought that was so funny as a kid.
When I go back and we actually watched Home Alone 2 this past week, and I think I even said it to Maddie when we watched it. When they get the whole choir scene and they're up there, they're doing their Christmas program, and Kevin gets in more trouble than his brother Buzz does, and Buzz is the one that caused all that. and they're sitting there and they're like, "Oh, you did such a good job apologizing," and all. And Kevin tries to like, he's playing you in that aspect, but yet he gets the blame, and they all wonder why he doesn't want to spend the holiday stuff with him. I would be in that same boat too.
Yeah. Maddie, what is your favorite scene?
Probably whenever the paint falls on Marvin.
That's pretty good. Those movies, they are the closest thing to like a live action cartoon, like a live action Looney Tunes type of.
Kind of like a Roadrunner Coyote kind of aspect.
Yes. Just this horrendous acts of violence that just kind of end with like a doing, kind of. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the Home Alone movies.
Harry sticking his head in the toilet after he had already kind of got all that gasoline and stuff on it would be another one that was pretty funny.
That's up there.
Because you sit there and you watch all these things like, how are these guys still alive? I mean, because you would die if you try to do some of this stuff.
Yeah. And some of their injuries are permanent, some of them are not. Like you see the doorknob burn on their hand.
Yeah.
But then, they can get their teeth knocked out their back or whatever,
Yeah, because Macaulay Culkin was on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel, one of those things over the holidays, because they were talking about how, he hasn't really done anything since those.
Yeah.
In which, if he talked about his contract, he says, well, I get a percentage of, everything when it goes back on resell or any restream and stuff. He basically gets all kind of profits and stuff from it.
Yeah.
Which he did leave a little teaser out there. I don't know if it was just for show or whatnot. But he said, the question was asked, would you ever come back and make another, but this time you as a parent? And he said, I thought about it, but the one condition he had is his actual wife, who is also an actress,
right,
and all, would come back and play his wife on there.
Yeah, and she's a great actress.
Yeah, she is.
He is going to be in Fallout Season 2.
See, that's what somebody said as well.
They've released the images of his character, and it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks really good. So, well, good deal. Maddie, any other questions? Is that wrap up Maddie's Minute for today?
I'm done.
Okay.
Now, I will say I'm kind of excited with what you were telling me as a possibility for next week's Minute.
What are we talking about next week, Maddie?
Remember what you told me at the house?
No.
Something that had to do with a certain
country singer?
Oh, Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Dolly.
Yeah, it was the favorite Dolly Parton song.
Oh, that'd be great.
And for y'all to guess mine.
And to guess yours. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. So next week I'll come with a list. I'll try to guess. I'll try to guess here.
She's done a couple good movies too.
Yeah.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't really understand is a lot of these older singers double dip. They did acting and singing in that aspect, and Dolly was a very popular actress back in the day.
Oh, I'm a big Dolly fan. I love Dolly Parton. She does a lot of great work, and would easily be a billionaire if she didn't do so much charity.
And her emphasis on every child learning to read. That's the Dream Library. That's such a great organization.
She seems like a genuinely kind and wonderful woman.
Oh yes.
All right. Thank you, Maddie, for another awesome Maddie's Minute. Can't wait for next week. Patrick, we got to talk a little bit about these games this weekend. We've got two big ones. Our first one is going to be on Saturday at 3:30. We got Carolina at Tampa Bay. And despite the stakes, you can still get a ticket for $71.
Wow.
Now, this is essentially a playoff game. Winner advances, loser stays home. Catch it on ESPN in that 3:30 slot there. Who do you like in this one? This one's hard for me to pick because these are two teams that can show up or not depending on the game.
Well, first off, this is Carolina Tampa, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Carolina, kudos to their team and coaches. I mean, huge turnaround and all for them this year, and Bryce Young's really been performing very well. Tampa's been kind of hitting a little slump here. This is if you go back and you look at Todd Bowles' coaching history, especially when he was with the Jets, they would look great until that last month of the season, and then they would fall off. And so we're kind of seeing that aspect of Todd Bowles' past coming back to haunt him here. If I had to make my selection, Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans is a great combo there. But I'm kind of riding the Carolina bandwagon here. I'm going to take Carolina in that one.
Tampa Bay is the Vegas favorite, 3.5 points. ESPN Auto Predictor has Tampa Bay with a 61.7% chance, but a lot of that has to do with the game being played in Tampa Bay. I want the Panthers to win. Now, I don't dislike either one of these teams. I don't really have a preference. But Bryce Young, I think, has been through a lot of adversity, as has Baker Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
But
easily the comeback player of the year.
Yeah. And it feels like so long ago that Baker was in talks as a potential MVP, and that obviously is not going to be the case. But I think this has been two interesting teams, and if there's a chance, if Tampa Bay gets it done, that we have a division winner with a losing record. They'd be 8-9.
Exactly.
They do. So I don't know. I don't really have a favorite or somebody I'm rooting for. I just hope for a great game. But if I had to pick, I would also hope the Panthers would get it done. I'd like to see that. Our other big game of the weekend, we have the Ravens at the Steelers. This one is Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Ravens, despite it being in Pittsburgh, the Ravens are a 3-point favorite, and the ESPN matchup predictor gives the Ravens a 57.4% chance of winning. Lamar Jackson is rumored to be back. That has not been made official, but he has been practicing, and he seems on schedule to play. As a Steelers fan, I almost prefer Lamar to play in this one because he's looked so banged up as opposed to getting lit up like last week with Finley. I don't have much hope as a Steelers fan in this one. The only reason I think we might win is because we shouldn't, and it feels like something the Steelers would do to prolong any sort of real change in administration there.
Well, I think the change in administration, I think we can put that one to bed because Tomlin's win last week secured a winning season.
19th for him, 22 for the Steelers.
Which is remarkable for a coach to not have a losing season in his career. It's just wow to me.
Yeah, it is a true big accomplishment.
Right.
Like that, I know that people are sick of that stat, especially Steelers fans, but you do have to give credit. That is an insane statistic.
Yeah, it is. And so I would say with this one, I think with or without Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry hasn't looked healthy. This past game was his first one that he's had in a month where he's had over 100 yards rushing in that regards. But I really do feel Aaron Rodgers said that, I'm not saying I'm retiring, I'm just saying my contract's up. But I don't know if Phillip Rivers gave him some motivation and stuff saying that you can still make it up to 44. But if Aaron Rodgers does not retire, I think he stays in Pittsburgh. But I do think this is his last swan song because he does have some things lined up, and I think one thing is with Pat McAfee's show. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to pull it out to make one last run for a Super Bowl. And so I'm going to take the Steelers in this one.
Okay, well, I hope you're right. I'd love to see that. I think if the Henry that shows up this week is the one that shows up last week, I think he puts Rodgers' career to an end. I think that he had 4 touchdowns, and I'll be honest, I don't like the Ravens, but I am a big Henry fan, and I was getting a little nervous for him. I mean, he had almost 40 carries, and I was thinking, like, man, you've got this game locked up. Y'all are really
putting wear and tear on him.
Yeah, like we're getting, you're going to need him next week. And I was thinking, man.
And I think the reason why he did that is because the OC's gotten a lot of heat.
Yeah.
And all, and so I think
as well.
Yeah, so I know that they feel pressure, and I feel that if they don't win this game, I think Harbaugh will stay just because he's won a Super Bowl and all there, and he's, I think, the franchise winningest coach. But there will be changes to the staff, and I think that's the reason why Monken kept feeding Henry to try to save his job.
Neither the Steelers or the Ravens are firing their coach. Let's go ahead and say that. That's not happening. It doesn't matter how loud it gets this offseason. That is not happening.
No.
I think the Steelers have a better chance of getting out of their contract just because it's about up. They have to re-sign him, extend his contract by March or something like that if they're going to keep him. And I know that the draft in Pittsburgh, the Rooneys, the owners, are not going to want to hear fire Tomlin chants at the draft. That would be embarrassing.
Yeah. And
so I think there's a chance they can talk him out of that contract. I don't think he's getting fired.
No, and the Rooneys, too, are just everything I've read about NFL owners, and if you were a coach or a player, if you want to have a ownership that is behind their coaches and all, everybody mentions the Rooney family.
Yeah.
And and the thing that I always loved is that they never forgot where they came from and how they got started, because I heard a story how they used to walk from their house to the stadium to work every day.
Yeah.
Just so that way they could be amongst the fans and build relationships with the fans, and to be able to hear, hey, how do you like the environment? What needs to be changed? What would you like to see? You know, having that type. Now, if they still do that, don't know.
Right.
But that to me just shows that they remember their roots.
They are well respected and well loved in Pittsburgh for a team owner. It's pretty rare that any team likes their team owner.
Yeah.
And they are pretty loved and respected there. I can't remember the number, but they bought the team in the early 1900s for like $5,000 or something like that. And at the time, it was considered a horrible investment.
Yeah.
And now it's worth over $1 billion. So, but yeah, they've been able. It seems like at least they are portrayed as though they have been able to stay in touch with reality to some extent, which is ideal. Patrick, let's move on though to Jasper Wrestling. Let's get a quick couple-minute update from you. I know we got some big things happening this weekend. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, because when we did our show out at over at the high school for our run, we talked about the tournaments and all from that previous weekend. But this week is real big for us. It is our big region duel. So our season is done in two halves. We have a duel, which is a more team aspect, and then we have the traditional where it becomes your individuals in your weight classes. And so this is kind of like the halfway point for us. And in our region, we have 6 or 7 teams, and a lot of them don't have to be able to fill every weight class, so it kind of knocks them out of the running. And so we have Gardendale and Morber Jordan coming in, which are two of premier programs in 6A that are always in contention for the state championship. And so we are going to be wrestling this Saturday. We've got weigh-ins at 8:30. We'll wrestle at 9:30. Since we're hosting it, we're going to wrestle last. So Morber Jordan and Gardendale will wrestle. And then whoever loses that duel, we will wrestle that team. And then whoever wins that one will in turn go and wrestle Gardendale.
Okay.
In that aspect. So it's gonna be a tough challenge. We've had a lot of sickness, and the other coaches have said that they've had some as well. I mean, this flu's just been rough this year, and so it's gonna be whoever's in the best shape and who's taken their vitamins and said their prayers, as Hulk Hogan would say. But we're very excited about it, and whichever two teams are the top two teams in this duel will in turn go and wrestle over against Pell City and Southside for sub-regions, and then the top two teams from there will head on to state.
Okay.
So it's going to be a big 2 weeks for us. I like our chances. We've wrestled Gardendale twice this year, and we have split with them. We have seen Morber Jordan. We haven't wrestled them in a duel yet, but just by what we have seen and all, we like our chances and all there as well. Pell City, we wrestled them earlier this year. It was the first tournament for varsity. We didn't have guys in the right weight classes that we were really wanting them in, and we should have won that one. We had a couple matches kind of get away from us that we shouldn't have. So we match up pretty good with them, and it would be a very exciting matchup with them. And then Southside Gadsden's about the same way. They were kind of like our rival when we were in 5A, and they moved up to 6A with us, and so we haven't really got a chance to see them as much this year. So it could be an exciting couple weeks here for us. We're peaking at the right time for varsity aspect, and the thing that has been encouraging is it's a lot of young guys that are kind of coming into some of these starting positions because of sickness, and they've really stepped it up to where if the starter comes back, be like, hey, if you want this spot, you got to take it from me. I wasn't keeping it warm and stuff for you. So it's created some good, healthy competition.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then with how we did as a JV team in Morber Jordan, and all over Christmas tournament. You know, it's really just kind of took from there and rubbed off on varsity. So we're kind of peaking at a good time here. A lot of people's kind of overlooked us a little bit, and so we're going to show people that, you know, we're not going to be a Cinderella. We're going to protect our yard.
Okay, well, great opportunities coming up. We're going to be rooting for the Vikes, and we'll definitely keep you updated on Jasper Wrestling's escapades here over the next couple weeks. So exciting stuff happening on the mat there at Jasper High School. I do have to get to some weird news of the week, and I've got some a few stories, and I want to end on some strange New Year's traditions around the world as well. But we'll start out with this one. This one's kind of a miracle in a way, but also, I imagine, was probably pretty traumatizing. Doctors delivered a surprise baby while removing mom's 22-pound cyst.
Oh.
Yeah, little Rayu Lopez developed outside his mom's womb, and she didn't know because he was hidden by a basketball-sized ovarian cyst. Had no idea that she was pregnant and so many issues going on. She says that before little Rayu was born, he developed outside his mother's womb, hidden by a basketball-sized ovarian cyst, a dangerous situation so rare that his doctors plan to write about the case for a medical journal. So it's just 1 in 30,000 pregnancies occur in the abdomen instead of the uterus, and those that make it to full term, quote, are essentially unheard of, far, far less than 1 in a million. And they said, I mean, this is really insane, end quote. So seems like it's a healthy baby. From what I've read, it seems like everything that could have went right somehow did, and I believe she also got that cyst removed safely. So just an incredible, miraculous story. Weird news, but a very great story.
Yeah, it's a very good story, because I'll be honest, I'd be traumatized by that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be. I mean, you think you're just getting a big cyst removed, and you have a baby. You have no planning for that.
Yeah, no planning whatsoever. It's a big surprise.
One of the doctors said that, quote, I just saw her face, and she looks like she wanted to weep and smile and cry at the same time. And I'm sure she did.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that is an insane scenario, but glad that everybody's healthy. Everybody is doing well.
Could you imagine being the husband in the waiting room?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, everything's okay, and by the way, congratulations, you're a father.
Yeah, like now.
Yeah.
Right now you're a father, yeah. Wild stuff, but I'm glad everybody is all right. Here's some less intense news, but some interesting for 2026. Now we're starting the new year. The characters of Betty Boop and Blondie have entered the public domain this year. So you can now use some incarnations of Betty Boop and Blondie in your personal material. You can't get sued by that anymore. You know, that happened to Mickey Mouse and Winnie Pooh a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I remember hearing something about that with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, I know. It's very specific incarnations of the character. I know Mickey Mouse, it has to be specifically Steamboat Willie. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what the incarnation is for Betty Boop, because, you know, that is an IP that lasted a long time.
Yeah.
And it's still around. So I'm sure it's probably her first appearance. Probably has to look exactly like that one. But Betty Boop, you can now write your own Betty Boop story if you want to. Can't get sued for it. Maddie, do you know who Betty Boop is? No, I barely knew when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I think my mom had a VHS, or my grandma had a VHS tape.
I think I remember seeing it because one of my favorite movies as a kid was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
And Betty Boop makes an appearance in that.
Have you watched Christmas Vacation? Maybe not. Christmas Vacation. The grandma is the voice of Betty Boop.
Really?
Yeah, the one that wraps up her cat.
Yeah.
Jello, that's the voice of Betty Boop.
No way.
Yeah, if you go back and watch it, you'll hear it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
How about this one? Thieves stole $400,000 worth of Costco lobsters with their new trick. It's a lot of money in lobsters. The stolen lobsters were reportedly picked up in Taunton, Massachusetts, and en route to stores in Illinois and Minnesota at the time of their disappearance. The suspects allegedly used a fake ID to pose as real truckers, gaining access to the freight, and then just driving off with $400,000 of lobsters.
That's what I was going to say. Did they that's why I was wondering if they hijacked a truck, because I mean, $400,000 of lobsters. Somebody would realize that you're just like being smothered in it.
So for a mid-sized brokerage like ours, a $400,000 loss is significant, forces tough decisions, and ultimately drives up costs across the supply chain. So I guess they haven't caught these guys.
I mean,
The theft wasn't random. It followed a pattern where we're seeing more and more where criminals impersonate legitimate carriers using spoofed emails and burner phones to hijack high-value freight while it's in transit. Wow. What a random thing to steal, too. But, I mean, money and lobsters, I guess. But who you
gonna sell it to? Yeah.
Before they go bad?
Yeah, because, I mean, you don't have long before they go bad.
Right. Or they're alive, I guess. How long can you keep them alive for?
I want to say, because I used to watch like on Discovery where they would have those shows where they'd go and catch them in the ocean and stuff. And I want to say, because like with crab, they had 2 weeks to get to the processor before they went bad.
Yeah.
And so I figured probably for lobster, it's probably around the same aspect.
A lot of lobsters sell.
It is.
How about some strangest New Year's superstitions? Now, I know we all know some. I'm sure, Patrick, you've heard you're not supposed to do laundry on New Year's. Have you heard that one?
I've heard that one. But if you ask my wife, I don't do laundry anyway.
It's just another day for you.
It's just another day for me.
Another one, I know you're supposed to eat greens. It's supposed to be good wealth. Black-eyed peas, I believe, is for good health.
Turnip green soup. That's our tradition in our
Turnip
house.
green soup?
Yes.
Okay. That's your greens?
That's our greens for and stuff.
Interesting. Well, have you ever heard of some of these? In Denmark, you are supposed to throw dishes. Smashing plates on friends' doors brings good luck. The more you find, the luckier you are.
That sounds like fun, Matty.
Want to go throw some
plates? You want to go throw some plates at some doors? No.
In Colombia, you're supposed to carry an empty suitcase with you. This ensures you'll travel more in the new year. So everywhere you go on New Year, you're supposed to carry an empty suitcase.
Huh.
A Danish tradition, here's another weird one from the Danes. Danish tradition says jumping off furniture at midnight brings good luck for the year. Supposed to jump into the new year, literally.
You can do that off your bed. This
is one that I heard for the first time today. I'm interested if you've ever heard this, but I saw somebody on Instagram, one of my friends, mentioned doing this. I'd never heard about it. In Spain, eating 12 grapes at midnight, one for each chime under a table, brings extra fortune, especially for love. Supposed to get under a table and eat 12 grapes.
Huh.
Very specific.
That's wow, that's weird.
A family tradition involves lighting walnut shell candles with wishes written on paper to see which burns first and comes true. That one's kind of nice.
Yeah, that one is.
And in Scotland, the first person to cross your threshold, ideally a dark-haired male with coal, bread, or whiskey, predicts this year's fortune. Does that happen often? You just come across?
I mean...
Here's some bizarre things to avoid. Sweeping, washing clothes, or taking out the trash on New Year's can wash away good luck or even a loved one, says folklore.
Oh.
Ensure your pockets and cupboards are full to symbolize abundance, not scarcity. Don't lend money or items or pay back debts, as this means financial loss for the year. Crying on New Year's Day can bring unhappiness for the year. In some beliefs, chicken or lobster are bad as they scratch backward, unlike forward-rooting pigs. This is very specific as well.
Very detailed.
And in Chinese culture, gifting a clock sounds like a funeral send-off, bringing bad luck. So you're not supposed to buy your friends a clock on New Year's. Maddie, have you ever bought somebody a clock anyway? No. I haven't either. I can't say that I have either.
A score update. Ole Miss scored on Georgia at the end of the first quarter.
All right. Well, maybe Ole Miss will get it done. If you're listening to this, you already know the answer.
Yeah.
But we are here during it. So end of the first quarter where we're at. Well, that's going to do it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Maddie, thank you for coming back. We're looking forward to Maddie's Minute next week, as always. Patrick, thank you for bringing this show back with me and going into 2026 with it. I enjoyed doing it before, and I enjoy doing it now, man. And it's even more fun being able to do it in person at the studio.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like – I mean, I love both of our studios here at the station, but this one I kind of like a little bit more the layout with it. And – you know, if you're looking to be able to sponsor us, you know, make sure you be able to give us a call here at the station or shoot us a message on our Facebook page or any of our social medias.
Yeah.
And, you know, for joining us as a sponsor, we can come out to your business or to your house or wherever to be able to do a show there. We'll bring you on and let you talk about your business and everything to that aspect, give you a lot of good publicity.
Yeah, and thank you to North Country Ford. I know they had some interest of coming on the show. I need to get in contact with them. And thank you for being our first sponsor since coming back, and looking forward to the relationship we're building with you guys. And they've been a great sponsor so far. Thank you to everyone for listening. And like we said, if you or somebody who would like to sponsor, you can jump on, give us a call or a message on our Facebook, at the Game Managers or WJLX. You can message us email at gamemanagerspod@gmail.com. You can message me or Patrick at our personal Facebooks. But thank you, everybody, for listening, for joining us through 2025 and into 2026. We are excited to keep following the college football playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and then getting into some other sports, too, in the spring as well. If you'd like to find Patrick and hear the good word, he's going to be at Ezra Baptist Church on Sunday. Patrick, what are we talking about this Sunday?
Yeah, so I kicked off a series last week called New Year's New Beginnings, because with us being new there to the church, got there before the holidays, and so we're kind of laying out our vision since we're through the holidays and all now. So we're starting this month talking about being the church and not just having the building, but us as people being the church out in the community. We're going to be talking about loving the life that God has given us this week, and then we're going to talk about loving people, and then we're going to talk about empowering through discipleship, and then fulfilling the Great Commission for the final week and being able to share the good news with everyone we come in contact with. So it's going to be a good month that we're excited about to be able to share this vision with, and with different ministry opportunities that we have that's going to be kind of going along. Some we've done through the holidays and some new ones that we're partnering up with some other churches in the community to be able to put this vision to use. All
right. Well, it's exciting stuff going on at Ezra Baptist. They are always happy to see a new face, so stop by if you're looking for a new church. Give them a shot and go by and see Patrick there, and they'll be happy to welcome you in with open arms. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll be back next week to preview that national championship by that point. Yeah. So we'll be wrapping up the semifinals, looking at the national championship, and then it's NFL playoff time as well. So a lot to look forward to. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back next week right here on WJLX 101.5. We will see you then.
Blue 42! Blue 42! Hut! Hut! Hike!
Thank you for listening to the Game Managers. Like the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TGM Pod. Until next week, goodbye, adios, and sayonara.